These influencer morons are now bragging about deboarding a plane and getting arrested like it's some highlight of their pathetic lives, as if delaying hundreds of travelers and the overworked staff is worth bragging about. But honestly, social media by the day is proving to me that main character syndrome is way more common than I first thought. But this all went down on January 9th at Miami International Airport, where Twiddledee and Twiddledum here, real names Sonia Blanchard and Jordan Danny Laundrie, were boarding an American Airlines flight when their entitlement started to affect everyone around them.
Two intoxicated trans models were kicked off an American Airlines flight in Miami after refusing to leave first-class seats they weren't assigned to. But instead of being mortified by the cringy incident, they happily posted these videos boasting about it. They were shouting at airline staff as police were called on board and caused an embarrassing scene.
Do you have your boarding passes?
That's crazy. No, we don't. Obviously, we're drunk and you guys don't want to deal with us. We don't have a boarding pass. That one, cool.
Obviously, they think this is funny, but I guess I'm not in on the joke. Like, wow, awesome. You're making everyone's day worse. Like, these people are hilarious. So obviously, the other passengers had to deboard the plane, and some of them might have connections or plans that they might have missed because of these two morons. And the flight attendants, they have an even harder shift that they have to get through now. But yeah, I guess this is so funny that you're drunk and you're getting kicked off a plane and probably put on a no-fly list. But basically, this all started when these two morons sat down in business class and they didn't pay for business class, but they decided they were going to sit there anyway. So according to these arrest records, flight attendants asked them more than once to move to their actual seats, and they didn't. And I guess that's when this stops being a normal airline issue and starts becoming content, because rather than quietly moving, they started filming.
We look like $1 million. I really want to miss my flight.
We're gonna get kicked out.
Do you have your boarding passes?
That's crazy. No, we don't. Obviously, we're drunk and you guys don't want to deal with us. We don't have a boarding pass.
What was the point of that? Like, where's the upside? I guess some attention, but really? That's what we're doing? So obviously, I guess at this point, the flight crew just stopped trying to negotiate. Police, they were called to the plane before takeoff, and other passengers started pulling out their phones. And obviously, once the police got involved, the situation didn't calm down at all. So according to the arrest reports, even after the officers boarded the plane, the two still refused to leave their business class seats. Why do this? Like, honestly, when you're in your 30s, you are too old to act like this. I expect this kind of stuff from some like IRL streamer or TikTok prankster in their late teens or maybe early 20s, not grown-ass women in their 30s doing this. Obviously, it would be ideal if no one did this kind of stuff, but we don't live in a perfect world. But obviously, when they refused to leave the seats, that's when things officially crossed from an airline problem into a criminal charge. So both the women were arrested for trespassing on property after a warning and taken off the plane in handcuffs. But they were both booked into the local correction center in Miami and then released later on after posting bond. No injuries were reported, and police just said there was no violence, just repeated refusal to follow instructions and clear signs of being drunk. But you know, instead of being quiet after getting arrested, the two went straight to social media and posted the clips like it were highlights of their lives. They both even changed their Instagram profile pictures to the mug shots and updated their bios to read iconic plane diva. The only people who thought this was entertaining were them. So obviously, instead of this being a lesson for them, apparently it's just branding. And that's where the story shifts from a bad airport decision to something way more intentional. So after getting out of jail, the two didn't slow down at all. If anything, they kind of just doubled down. They uploaded a whole bunch of more videos of them at the airport, showing them doing handstands and riding their suitcases and just being children. But they're grown-ass women in their 30s. So, awesome. I mean, come on. We've seen this footage over and over again. I'm already tired of it, so I don't know how they're not tired of doing this, and I can only imagine how the people on the plane and the crew on that plane felt, because this is unbearable. This is so embarrassing that these women in their 30s are deciding to act like this to promote their goofy link in bio, because that's unfortunately what all this boils down to, because obviously they're influencers, but the way they make their money is by doing stupid stuff and going, oh, link in bio, we're crazy. Okay, but like they weren't just being childish, they were also just being obnoxious and straight up rude to the flight attendants. And reportedly, they called one of the flight attendants a first-class server while making fun of her. Imagine being banned from an airline for making an unfunny video. But obviously, they're laughing and they're recording themselves like they were filming some sort of skit and not causing a delay for the entire flight full of people. And Blankard even posted the booking photos with the caption, "Guess what we did?" like it was some funny story instead of an arrest record. She also posted Instagram stories while still wearing her jail wristband. And then came the merch. So I guess the two launched products featuring their mugshots, selling items like cups and t-shirts branded around the arrest. Right, you know, I guess that's what you do. And also, there are so many arrests that are actually funny or are unjust. But this one, they absolutely deserved it. And just looking at that merch, you know that hot garbage is not selling. But Lantry even encouraged her followers to copy her move, calling for a trend where people do splits while being escorted out by police. She posted in quote, "If this isn't a trend yet, I don't know what to tell you. Ma'am, if you don't see how pathetic this is, I don't know what to tell you." But several passengers who were actually on the flight spoke up about it as well. One said the woman sat down in first class and started filming, even though someone else was assigned to those seats when asked to move. When asked to move, they allegedly said, hey, they need to finish their content first, and then they'd give the seat back. Wow. I mean, that is a certifiable Jack Doherty in the middle of the road moment. It's not like we were just at his arraignment for that whole thing. But no, this wasn't some like, oh, we're so drunk and acting crazy. This was a planned content thing. Like they were fully trying to get footage of them being disrespectful in first class for the camera alone. Like it was a decision to turn a public space into a set and everyone else into extras. But unfortunately for them, airlines have broad authority to remove passengers in situations like this, especially when safety or order is at risk. Because once the warning was ignored, the rest was pretty much guaranteed. Both women were charged with misdemeanor trespassing on property after warning, and each of them had to post bond to get out of jail. They were also given formal warnings to stay off the property, and ignoring these kinds of warnings in the future can lead to way more serious consequences, including additional charges. There's also the airline side of this. So when you buy a plane ticket, you agree to something called the contract of carriage. That contract essentially gives the airline the power to remove any passenger that they believe is a safety risk, even before the flight takes off. So once crew members decide someone needs to go, refusing to comply can quickly turn into a criminal issue. And interfering with a flight crew's job is also a big deal under federal law. You don't have to be violent for it to count either. So in most cases like this, passengers don't really have the legal leverage afterwards. The airline isn't required to put them back on the flight, and refunds are often denied. But it wasn't until January 21st, which is like almost 2 weeks after the incident, that Lantry posted on her Instagram story that she had finally got her carry-on luggage back. So that's how fast they were removed from the flight. Even if they joked about it online, this wasn't fake trouble, it was real charges with real records. And what's kind of funny about all this is how openly the two treated it like a win. Like everything about this was framed as a moment they were proud of. And the clips were, I guess, just posted like highlights. But I mean, hey, anything that's planned for views is frustrating. But I guess this was just their pathetic way of getting some attention on social media, and obviously it affected an entire flight and its crew. So overall, I guess some people just suck. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Subscribe if you're new, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I already said that. Peace.